Have you ever been standing at your merch table after a show when a fan picks up your CD and says, I'd buy it, but I don't have a CD player? Hey, Jeff Favala with Disc Makers. And if you're like a lot of artists, that's where the conversation ends. The fan puts down the CD, you nod politely, and both of you move on. But what if I told you that statement might not be an objection? In fact, it might be one of the biggest misconceptions surrounding CDs today. One of the most common things my team and I hear from artists is that fans don't own CD players anymore. And a lot of times they're right. But when a fan says, I don't have a CD player, there's really two things they might be telling you. The first is, why should I buy this? And the second is, how would I even listen to it? We've talked a lot on this channel about the first question. CDs aren't just a way to listen to music anymore. They're souvenirs, collectibles, and a way for fans to support the artists they love. So today, I want to focus on the second question, because the bigger myth isn't that nobody buys CDs anymore. It's that nobody has a way to play them. For a lot of people, the phrase CD player really brings them back to the 90s, the giant stereo systems, the 6-disc changers in the trunk of their car. And most new cars don't even have CD players anymore, and streaming has become the default way people listen to music, so it's easy to assume CD players just disappeared. But that's not what happened. The reality is CD players evolved. In fact, thanks in large part to the renewed interest in physical media, there's a lot more options out there than people realize. You can buy portable players that connect to your Bluetooth earbuds. You can find compact units that sit on your desk. There's retro-inspired boomboxes, all-in-one audio systems, and even modern units that look more like decoration than just stereo equipment. Just search for CD player on Amazon, you'll see what I mean. The other day, I was testing this portable player on my desk, and my daughter, who's in college, noticed it, asked what it was. A few minutes later, she mentioned that she had been thinking about bringing her CD player back to school next semester and hinted that this would be a cool one, so I might have to give it to her. That caught me by surprise because here's someone from a generation that grew up with streaming, and yet she still sees value in having a dedicated way to play physical music. And she's not alone. We're seeing growing interest in physical formats from younger listeners who enjoy collecting music, owning something tangible, and experiencing albums in a more intentional way. Now, am I suggesting that everyone should run out and buy a CD player? Of course not. That's not the point. The point is, CDs are far more playable and more practical than people assume. The technology didn't disappear, it adapted. So what should you say when a fan tells you they don't have a CD player? You don't need to argue, you don't need to pressure them, you certainly don't need to launch into a lecture about physical media. Instead, try something simple like, I get that, a lot of people don't realize there's players out there that you can buy, but even if you never play it, a lot of fans pick one up as a way to support our music. That response acknowledges their concern, gives them some useful information, and reminds them of the value without sounding pushy. So the next time someone tells you they don't have a CD player, don't assume they're saying no. They might just have an idea in their mind of what a CD player looks like. And once they realize there's plenty of ways to enjoy physical music today, that conversation might not end where you thought it would. Have you run into this at your merch table? We all learn from each other, so let us know how you handle it in the comments.